What's going on, all you mentees? Happy Tuesday. It's time to take an advanced look at all the collected editions coming out from Marvel this week and a few from last week. So, join me. Before going any further, I do want to thank the folks at Marvel and David Gabriel for sending us advanced copies of all of these books. These books are due out in the direct market and book market on February 14th or 15th, depending on where you get your books. And keep in mind, these are just the collected editions outside of Omnis from Marvel Comics. So we've got a lot, and some that I missed from last week, so we'll be starting with those first. I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can through all of these. So please bear that in mind when I usually try to go in depth. I'll cut myself off and just go quickly as I can. So we have a lot of books. So timestamps in the description of the video. As always, hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Let's go! Kicking off this week is, well, actually kicking off last week, because I didn't do these last week, because there were only 3 books available. But this is the Mighty Marvel Masterworks Captain Marvel, Volume 1. How in the world do we have a Volume 1 of Captain Marvel and no Iron Man? That is crazy, but you know what? I don't make the rules, I just follow them? I don't know what I'm saying. Alright, no time to waste, no time to waste. Here is your standard edition cover and your direct market cover. Of course, the direct market cover being limited edition. Even the back is different, letting you know that this is a volume 20 of a special limited printing. Both of these retailing for $15.99. And collecting Marvel Superheroes 12 and 13. And Captain Marvel 1 through 7. You also have material from Nod Brand Ek number 9. So this is the early Gene Colan, Roy Thomas era of Captain Marvel. And it's when Marvel decided to, well, they ended up getting the trademark for Captain Marvel to start publishing their books under that title. So they created this particular character of Mar-Vell, and Earthlings misunderstood the way he said his name. So hey, Captain Marvel. Everything else on the inside is the same on both of these. And we'll be doing a more thorough overview and with the family. I've been holding on to the Black Panther overview just because of videos that keep coming up that I have to get out. But that's coming, and my kids are currently reading Namor. So Captain Marvel will be next, and I'm curious to see what they think about this, especially the design of the costume, because Gene Colan hated that design, the color scheme. That's why it was remade later on. But this one, $15.99, and it has 200 pages. And these digest-sized books are always smaller than your trade paperbacks, which are the trim size of a single comic, like the pages are. Just to kind of give you an idea there, but these are smaller than trades. And now we have the latest Avengers issue by Jason Aaron. And this is Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, History's Mightiest Heroes. Now, this is volume 11. This one has Avengers 57 through 62. That is the 2018 series, 136 pages, and this one here retails for $17.99. And it continues this idea of the Avengers being lost in time and then coming together with other Avengers from different timelines. So this is all going to come together in that Avengers Assemble book. And we also have the return of one particular character. However, I strongly suggest waiting to read that particular issue where an Avenger returns after you read the Judgment Day crossover, because it's part of the Judgment Day crossover, and it kind of spoils a little bit as to the role the Avengers are playing in Judgment Day. Mainly one big thing that happens, because if you remember where Avengers live, yeah, right, that has to come to play. And this is another book that came out last week along with Captain Marvel and the other Epic Collection I'll be talking about here in a little bit. But the artwork here is mainly provided by Javier Garon, and of course written mainly by Jason Aaron, with the exception of that one issued that I can't show because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. That one is written by Mark Russell, and it is drawn by Greg Land. So in here you're going to see different versions of the Avengers, like in the Old West, you're going to see Reno Phoenix and the Star Brand Kid. It's actually what I was just on. So it's like your Western take on the Phoenix and Star Brand, and you're going to get to travel through different eras that the Avengers may have or may not have lived through. 136 pages. Let's look at the extras. We'll just showcase a couple of extras, including that beautiful cover right there by Humberto Ramos and Edgar Delgado, who are both working on Strange Academy. And Mike McCone right there. And I forgot to mention where these are. Well, no, I haven't yet. This one's published in Canada. So it's basically the same kind of trade material that you've been seeing over the years. Here we have the latest Star Wars Epic Collection. This is the Menace Revealed, part of the Legends line, and it is Volume 3. This is one that has been a long time coming. I remember this one, we got to announce it a couple of, oh my gosh, I think it's been 2 years ago. And it was supposed to come out last year, which last year isn't that long ago, right? February. But it is finally here, and it came out last week. And John Ostrander being the big writer in this, and here are some of the pencilers like Pop Man. And Pop Man's artwork really stands out, and I'll talk about why here in a little bit. It's so good to see Jane Dursema, Tom Fowler, and you have Ron Mars and Ryder Wyndham, there we go. Also helping to write some of the stories in here. So this is another era of Dark Horse, so collecting issues 36 through 45 of the Dark Horse era of Star Wars. Then we get Jedi Quest 1 through 4, and Star Wars Jango Fett one-shot, and Zam Wesell one-shot. The book has 448 pages, and this one here retails for $39.99. So this is broken down into a couple of different story arcs. You have this story right here. This is the Stark's Hyperspace War, and it's all about this smuggler and pirate named Ayako Stark, who pretty much has disrupted the production of Bacta. And Bacta in the Star Wars universe is this healing agent that the whole galaxy uses. So him stopping production is kind of a way to get rich. So everybody gets involved in this. It's not just the Empire, or I'm sorry, it wasn't really the Empire then, because I forgot to note that all this takes place in between episodes 1 and 2, and that is so cool. That all of this takes place in between episodes 1 and 2. And it's so cool because you'll get to see some of the stories in here that the writers had no idea what they were going to do with episode 2. Because there's about 10 years in between episodes 1 and 2 of Star Wars. But I like the idea of how the rest of the galaxy is adapting to this idea that there might be some evil out there because bad things just keep happening. You got a little flashback here with Qui-Gon Jinn. Some nice... Oh, this stupid story right here made me crack up. The Devaranian version. And it's all about Billy and his version of one particular story. It's only a 2-parter. And man, that one was a lot of fun. And then you have the reunion of these two characters. This is Quinlan Vos and Ayala Sakura. They're reunited here for this particular adventure. And yeah, I really like this era. It's really interesting because I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars Episode 2. I'm sure a lot of people are. People love that movie. Episode 1, I don't hate as much as some people do. People really loathe that one. I don't know which ones hate it more, honestly. Maybe it's all the sequels, 6, 7, or 7, 8, and 9. But back in my day, people were really hating on episodes 1, 2, and 3. But what I liked about this is that it expands on the idea that this is how everyone's reacting to what's happening out there in the galaxy. Gives you a good look as to that rising conflict that the Republic is dealing with during this particular time. Alright, then we get this right here. This is Jedi's Quest. This is the one that's drawn by Pop Man. And I really like Pop Man's artwork. But during this time, it is a very anime-ish art style. So much so that what we're looking at here is Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I get Anakin looking like this, but Obi-Wan looks way too young to have a beard by episode 2. But anyway, what I liked about this is that we get to see this side of Anakin. We get to see Anakin tap a little bit and get fear of that dark side that might be in him. Again, not knowing what episode 2 was going to be about, I thought the creative team did an awesome job with that. Then we get the Jango Fett one-shot. By now, of course, Jango Fett has already shown up in episode 2, so this is post-episode 2. I think this one here was in 2002, so I came out the same year that Star Wars Attack of the Clones came out. It's a short story about Jango Fett, and then there's a short story about Zam Wesell. This one, again, came out last year, And this is the short story here of Zam Wazell and Jango Fett teaming up. Now, this is another one that came out last week, but I wanted to show it. Let's look at the extras. You have an introduction here by Ron Mars, and this is talking a little bit about that Devaronian version of Star Wars 40 and 41. Retells the events of the Jedi Council Acts of War 1 through 4, which can be found in the Rise of the Sith Epic Collection Volume 1. So, it's Philly's version of that. Some original artwork here by Jander Cena. And then an ad for Star Wars Legends, The Old Republic Volume 5. Volume 3, from that particular era, the story's taking place between episodes 1 and 2. Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr., Volume 3, Hobgoblin. Now, this is not the cover that has been everywhere. Like, the placeholder for the cover is actually kind of a spoiler, I guess. I don't know. It's also on the back, so just in case, maybe minor spoilers. This is why I have timestamps, in case you want to jump ahead and you don't want to know anything about a book. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but, you know, it's on the back cover, so... Oh, what could that possibly mean? Peter die and go to heaven? Maybe. Alright, let's crack this open. So this right here collects more of the Zeb Wells era of Spider-Man. John Romita Jr. is not the only person joining him. We also have artwork in here from Patrick Gleason. And as a matter of fact, this one here is printed in the US, by the way. So it has this non-glossy finish. The paper is a little bit thicker. So you have Patrick Gleason doing that, Nick Dragotta doing issue 10, John Romita Jr. doing issues 11 through 13. And then issue 14 has spring, summer, fall, and winter. And that sets up the big dark web, which has been getting set up through all of these issues. So I had deja vu when reading issue 9 here, because this is also in that Hellfire Gala book. And I was so confused because it's like, wait a minute. The hell? I haven't read this yet. Why did I read this already? So I was really confused. So that also appears in there because it does take place during the Hellfire Gala. But this is also during the Judgment War crossover that Marvel had last year with the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Eternals. Now in here there's a little bit of a blurb as to who this is, why they're there, and I will say that the ending of this issue, whether it's the real Gwen or not, I think most of us know how that goes. It made this grown man tear up some. Just a beautiful moment. I like that. I like it when Peter has these little moments in his life. And this is one of those runs that I know people are hit and miss with. Some of my friends really love it. Some have come back to Spider-Man because of this. And I don't know if that's because they were X-Men fans and this ties Spider-Man to X-Men in a really weird way. And then some of them cannot stand it. They're not fans of this run at all. So it's really interesting where people are with Zeb Wells' run on Spider-Man. I'm curious to see where Dark Web goes. So we do have the return of Hobgoblin. Which Hobgoblin you want to ask? I don't know. There's one way to find out. But I strongly suggest reading Hobgoblin Lives, the little mini-series that's available in trade paperback, not in omnibus format, not in Epic Collections. Not yet, anyway. Maybe one day. But that has a little bit of story in here. Now, what is this issue 14 that is split up into seasons? So I'm not going to go too much into detail, but we have spring here. And then we have summer. They're all drawn by different artists. This one here is by Kyle Holtz. And then you have Terry Dodson doing the fall. And then Ryan Stegman doing the winter. And that's all I will show. I can't even show any pictures of fall. Let's look at the extras. Because all of that leads into Dark Web. And it's also the introduction of a new character. And I didn't want to give anybody any hints as to who that new character is or what exactly is happening. So this one here, collecting again, Amazing Spider-Man 9 through 14. It's 144 pages and retailing for $19.99. These are all the extras in the back, including some covers that have nothing to do with the actual story. Now we're looking at Iron Man Source Control. This is volume 4 of Christopher Cantwell's run. And this collects issues of Iron Man from 2020. 20 to 25, Christopher Cantwell, Angel Unzueta are the main creators of the book, and then you have these stories from annual number 1. And I have to say that the artwork in here is very hit and miss with me by Angel Unzueta, because kind of reminds me of that Salvador La Roca artwork. Like the lightbox artwork that he's using recently, but it works in some pictures and it doesn't work in other pictures. Like it looks like a photo and it looks too much like a photo with some art on top of it. But then during action sequences, especially when Iron Man is coming out like that's really cool and that works. And whenever he's doing his attacks and flying and just blasting, I think it looks phenomenal. But then you have something like this that looks like a photo still. I don't know, it kind of takes me out. I think he's trying to do that Kafu artwork, and I believe, yes, he's definitely a wonderful artist, but not quite there yet. Then we get to meet this kid. Wait, I haven't even talked about the damn plot. I was talking about the art. Okay, so really quickly, Tony Stark is back from fighting in space. Who did he fight? Well, the book doesn't tell you, so I'm not going to tell you either. But it was a big character in the Avengers. He came back, and it was a big deal. He formed his own team to take him out. And Patsy Walker was one of those people. And he's had a lot of strong feelings for Patsy Walker since he came back. And he wants to show her those feelings. But, she's not really sure about it. So they go back and forth. And, it's Tony Stark. Will he end up alone or will he end up happy? So we also are introduced to this character named, what is his name? Switchback, I think. It's this new villain that is taking this case. And this case holds these 10 rings. And these 10 rings are being bought by different people throughout the next couple of issues until there's a twist with the return of a particular character. And then that has a twist. And these stories really make me think that, damn it, I really wish that Christopher Cantwell had gotten the chance to write Iron Man a lot longer. Because the first story arc was 3 volumes long of 3 trade paperbacks. And then this feels like the aftermath of that story, plus introducing new story elements that it looks like he wanted to do from the beginning and just didn't get a chance to do it. So sadly, this comes to an end with issue number 25, wrapping up his run on this particular book. And again, this is what the artwork looks like. Let's look at the extras. Oh, but not before these little short stories here in issue number 25. It's Daddy's Boy right there. There's a couple of other little short stories. And then there's a one-page, this one's really cool because this takes place during a Tales of Suspense that never came out. I think it was like issue 120-something, 126, yeah. Even the retro art style, but the paper stock doesn't really fit it, right? So, no. These are the things to come right here in, I guess, what is the ongoing new Iron Man comic? And then we have some variant covers here. It's a really cool one. And an Alex Ross design cover. Daredevil and Elektra by Chip Zdarsky. Volume 1, The Red Fist Saga. Stop what you're doing. If you have not read Devil's Reign, just skip ahead. Go to the timestamp in the description of the video. I can't even talk to you about this. Open up the book and you're going to see, wait a minute, what's happening here? Well, I mean, no, not really, but I can be vague. And I can be vague. It's just that even if I open up the comic and turn it into a random page, you're going to be like, wait a second, what's that about? What are they talking about? What's going on? Okay, maybe I'm the only one that overreacts. Anyway, spoilers. Playing it safe, because I don't want to get called out. Oh, man, you spoiled so much. Other than the cover, I hope I didn't. But this is after Devil's Reign. And it's starting Matt with a new status quo. Collecting issues 1 through 5 of Daredevil, the 2022 series. So it's not Daredevil and Elektra, but that's what the book is called because she plays an important part in this. So $17.99. This one has 144 pages. Printed in the US, Daredevil and Elektra. What is going on? What happened in Devil's Reign? Well, I'm not going to say what happened. All I can say is that Matt Murdock finds himself looking a little rougher now. He's growing his beard out. He knows about the Punisher's new symbol. So you know where this is going to go, and I can't wait for that because I'm loving the Punisher. If you haven't read the Punisher, you need to seriously read it. That got the near mint condition seal of approval that week. Oh yeah, I'm bringing that back. So if you haven't seen the seal of approval graphic yet, then I haven't done it yet. All right, so Matt Murdock is talking to Kingpin's son. He's talking about the aftermath of Devil's Reign. He's telling him what he's lost. Kingpin's son's telling him what he's lost, and Matt's finding out some things that he didn't want to hear. Then he's able to awaken something in Spider-Man. Not where you think I'm going with that. I need to rephrase that. He awakens these memories in Spider-Man. There we go. That Spider-Man has forgotten, and that goes back before Zdarsky's run. So people are starting to remember certain things. Meanwhile, Elektra and Stick are on a journey. What kind of journey? What's happening? What could it possibly mean? And we have Matt meet up with an old friend. This guy that he names Goldie. And Goldie reveals that he might be a bigger key player than what we thought. Goldie's a character that appeared in the earlier issues of Zdarsky's run. Then we have this beautiful, is this, I believe, issue number 3. Nope, it's issue number 2. These beautiful pieces of art by different artists that have graced Daredevil. So you have John Romita Jr., Chris Samney, Alex Maleev right there, Phil Noto, just to name a few of the artists. And that is really cool. I love when they do that. Bendis did the same thing in one of his big anniversary issues. So I love when they bring characters back like that. So Matt is going on another journey. He and Elektra are sent to restore this Red Fist. And who are the Red Fists, and how is it that they can only awaken the Red Fist? Well, there's one way to make sure, and it does, the ending of, well, I'm not even going to tell you what issue. There's an ending in one particular issue that I'm like, oh, okay. That's going to be really weird to explain. And that's all I will say. Being as vague as I can. Daredevil gets this new badass outfit. Oh my gosh, it's so freaking awesome. And then we get this character right here of, what is his name? Cold North, I think? He was a character that was introduced through Zdarsky's run as well. Yeah, Cold North. And we get Matt in his new outfit. Oh, I love it. I love the bearded look. And I love the cloak. I think he looks so badass in this amazing fight here with John Walker, U.S. Agent. Of course, drawn by the phenomenal Marco Cacchetto. Now, this book has 144 pages, retails for $17.99. Let's keep going, and actually, let's look at the extras. We get a little bit of an extra right here from Mini Marvels. We get variants right there. And thumbnail variants. You have full splash. That's a beautiful piece right there by Ryan Stegman. Splash page variants. Miracle Man, who doesn't really show up. Yeah, that outfit, man, that is killer. I love it. Looks like an older, wiser Daredevil. It is spine watching time. That's right. These are all the spines of the books coming out this week. And of course, the ones that came out last week. So at this moment, I always like to remind people to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications if you're enjoying these type of videos. All right, let's keep going because we got a lot more to talk about. Genis-Vell, Captain Marvel by Peter David. So not only is Genis-Vell back, so is Peter David writing his Avengers. He was my favorite Captain Marvel. I love this incarnation of Captain Marvel because it doesn't take itself too seriously, and this reminds me why I enjoyed it. So not only is Peter David, this was printed in America by the way, Peter David back, Genis-Vell's back, but so is freaking Rick Jones. So they're off to their kind of kooky adventures. I'm not going to go into detail as to how he came back, but he's back in the Marvel Universe. Now, of course, there have been other incarnations of Captain Marvel since then, but this is Mar-Vell's son right here. And his sister's still out there, Fila. So will there be a reunion? You bet your butt there is. Collecting 5 issues of this miniseries that I wish would have lasted a lot longer. $17.99 is 128 pages. So, I swear, Peter David, my gosh, the way he writes stories. There is one particular scene in here that made me think, oh my gosh, I remember that. And I can't spoil it because it's a big twist in the story, what it's about. Well, I will say that this is about life and death. And there are characters in here like Marlo Chandler that show up. This is Rick's ex-wife. They were married in the pages of The Incredible Hulk. And there's something at their wedding that comes back in this particular 5-issue miniseries that I was like, oh my gosh, I thought it was just a joke. And I think it was supposed to be a joke back then. But I really liked it. And you have Jacinda back. And that's all I'm going to say about it. There's a couple of twists. There's so many. Actually, no, there's more than a couple. There's a lot of twists and turns in here that makes you think, ooh, Like, where are they going to go from here? What was Peter David going to do with this character now? Where's he going to take him? I would follow this character, Peter David, writing the new era of a modern Marvel cosmic saga any day. Just, it was like riding a bike, getting on a bike, and remembering how to ride it. That's what riding a bike means. Uncanny Omar. What the hell? Anyway, that's what it felt like going back and reading this. So obviously, I'm very excited. Does this get the near mint condition, seal of approval, stamp of approval, or whatever heck I'm going to call it? No, because there was another book that blew me away completely unexpectedly. 128 pages. It's so good to see this character back. If you're a fan of this character, if you're a fan of Peter David's run on Hulk, if you're a fan of Peter David's writing, this is definitely for you. Let's look at the extras in the back. So you have the variants all the way back here, including Genis-Vell and his classic outfit. Does he go back to his more Kree outfit? Maybe. I tell you what doesn't happen in here. Miracle Man, that's just a tease. Alright, let's keep going. With a book that I thought was going to be a hardcover, an oversized hardcover, because the first one was, but they didn't this time around. This is X-Men Hellfire Gala Immortal. Now, X-Men Hellfire Gala Immortal could be considered Hellfire Gala Year 2. And this collects issues of the Hellfire Gala, one-shot, Secret X-Men #1, X-Men Unlimited, the Infinity comic, which I've never read. It's never been collected, I don't think, in anything. Issues 50 through 55. The Hellfire Gala confessional strips. Amazing Spider-Man 9. See what I mean? I was really confused. I was like, when I was reading this again, it's like, wait a minute. What? How? I thought I read that already. And then Free Comic Book Day 2022 Avengers X-Men #1, which is part of the Judgment War. So this kind of sets up a little bit of the Judgment War and a character of Mary Jane Watson and how she makes it to the Hellfire Gala. But is it really her? Because in this year of Hellfire Gala, there are some characters that were not invited, and they feel like they should have been. And one character in particular that makes a big appearance here. And it changes everything, because then you can see the ties between this and Spider-Man start to happen. When my friends were telling me about how Spider-Man and the X-Men were going to have this huge crossover called Dark Web, they gave me the premise, right? They gave me the pitch. And at first I was like, that doesn't make sense. Of course both of them are the same, but they've never had anything to do with each other. With this and the last volume of Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, I can kind of see where they're going. How it's going to end, I have no idea. I think it's already started, hasn't it? Dark Web, or is it starting this year? I'm so out of the touch with single issues. This book has 200 pages, retails for $24.99. This is what the Infinity comics look like right here. And it was so nice to see Micromax back. Not only is Siren back, but also Micromax right there, who I haven't seen in a long time. And this is the issue of Amazing Spider-Man. This one drawn by Patrick Gleason. Beautiful artwork. Alright, let's look at the extras, because that's where some of the design variants are going to be. But let's look at the regular variants here. Ooh, Arthur Adams, my goodness. This Wolverine, yeah, I guess he would be. He's that short. Whoa, beautiful. And this is the design variants right here. Hey now, She-Hulk. Whoa, Emma. Easy now. Oh, okay, sorry. I hadn't had a chance to... all I did the last 2 weeks was read, so I haven't even had a chance to look at these covers. It's a beautiful piece by Russell Dodderman. Oh, I like that one too. I'm not too keen on that outfit, but that's a really cool piece of art. Oh, Gene. Looking all fine and dandy. What am I saying? Fine and dandy. Anyway, that was the Hellfire Gala. Small glimpse at it. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, Volume 1, Revolution. So, this book right here is $19.99. It collects Captain America 0, and we're actually going to go and look at it here in a second. Because let's talk about the writers. We have Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly writing the entire book, but they are joined by Tochi Onyebuchi for the Captain America 0 with Mattia de... Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Mattia de Ulis on artwork, which is beautiful artwork. Carmen Carnero doing the artwork for the ongoing series. So issue number 0 kicks off with Captain America and Captain America fighting Arnim Zola. So you have Sam Wilson, Captain America, and Steve Rogers Captain America, and you see them kind of dealing with the idea that there's two Captain America fighting Arnim Zola. But there's this inner monologue in Captain America, and I know it's not really inner monologue because there's no thought bubbles, but I like the way that he talks about things and he thinks about things. You see it a lot more in the ongoing series, but you get a small glimpse of it here, and it is just so awesome and almost pure and innocent the way that, some writers write Captain America. My favorite part that cracked me up here, though, was when both of them were falling from this big rocket that Arnim Zola was building. Both of them defeat Arnim Zola, they come back to Earth, and they kind of dive down on this little shield, of course. But my favorite part is on this page. Awkward question. Shoot, you gonna be astonishing Captain America, or is that gonna be me? Really, Sam? Now? And then down here, they're talking about uncanny Captain America, spectacular Captain America. And they both decide, you know what? We are both Captain America, and that could really work. Very, symbolism everywhere, a little too much in your face about it. Then we have the introduction of these new villains and what the symbol is. It's all about symbol and a revolution. And we kick it off with the first issue, The Forge. Again, symbol, revolution, inner monologue, talking about Captain America. I really enjoyed this. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that this got the near mint condition, seal of approval, stamp of approval, whatever I'm going to call it. I'll figure it out next week. We just started. So where's that graphic? There we go. Oh my gosh, did this freaking book blow me away. I don't know what I was expecting. I was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting Captain America, Steve Rogers, to move back into his old home and immediately just bring a little tear to my eye. He starts renting this little apartment, and the guy's like, "You sure you want this place? You're Captain America." You find out that it was the home that he grew up in with his mom. So there's all these little flashbacks he has, and he talks about the streets being different. He has a less man at a time feel that a lot of writers go for, and more of a everyman type of feel. Like, I'm going to get out there and get to know people. I'm going to force myself to make friends with normal human beings that don't have any superpowers. So he starts attending classes, he goes to ball games, and of course he has superheroic things happening. So it's a beautiful balance of like a personal life and a work life. And it's Captain America. So of course things are happening, like you get the introduction of a new destroyer, and this opens up the whole puzzle and riddle as to who these new people are. And anytime you write or you read a Captain America story, you immediately think, okay, Red Skull's behind everything. It's the German Nazis. Well, it started with Arnim Zola, so maybe there was a little bit of that in there. But with the ongoing series, you get the feeling of, no, he's not going for your tropey type of villain. Or, I'm sorry, both of the writers. They're not going for your tropey type of Captain America villains. They're actually introducing new concepts that haven't been done in a while. This takes place after Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Captain America. And let me skip a little bit here. One of my viewers on the Saturday stream mentioned that they loved this and they couldn't wait to hear my opinion. My opinion is, oh my gosh, hell yes. This is awesome. I really like this. I wasn't expecting to like this. I wasn't expecting to feel so much for Captain America. I love the way that he interacts with Bucky, and I love the way that he interacts with Sam and how different it is for him to interact with both of them. Because, when you have different friends, you act different around them. Sometimes you kind of mimic them, and that's a sense of flattery, if you will. And I love that. Like, they were paying so much attention to detail. Yes, you get new characters in here, and he's bonding with a small boy, so that's very tropey, but who cares? Where's this gonna go? Why is this one character back in the middle? They're gonna explain that? I'm in, man. This was a lot of fun. I hope the second volume is as good as this one, but I really enjoyed this one. This one has 164 pages, or I'm sorry, 184 pages and retails for $19.99. Let's look at the extras. So here we have some extras. Again, Miracle Man popping up everywhere. And man, I didn't even talk about the ending, the issue number 6. Holy crap, what does that mean? I can't wait to find out. Alright, we just got a few more, so we gotta keep on trucking. Alright, here we have Daredevil Epic Collection, The Man Without Fear, backed by popular demand. And on Valentine's Day, get your lady a copy of Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, Volume 1. Or your gentleman. Because they're gonna appreciate where it began, and it's got red everywhere for roses. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I really didn't have any idea where I started when I opened my mouth, since I've been the age of 6, I think. Alright, so this introduces us to the character of Matt Murdock, how he got his powers. Origins is what the first issue is called. Collecting the first 21 issues. Wally Wood, credited as Wallace Wood, does a lot of the artwork early on. You have John Romita coming on as the ongoing artist for a while. You have Gene Colan doing some artwork, and of course Stan Lee writing the stories. You get the introduction of his supporting cast, like Foggy Nelson, and you have the character of Karen Page. You have villains in here like the Owl, the Stilt Man, Purple Man, and then you have some borrowed villains, which is really interesting, like Electro showing up. My daughter used to crack up. I think it's that page. No, she laughed at that page, and I'm like, you are laughing at one of the greatest Masters of Arts pages whenever we did the Mighty Marvel Masterworks review. Or a panel, rather. We get the new costume in issue number, this issue right here, when the Submariner attacks. And this is the debut of his red costume, designed by Wally Wood, and the big fight against Namor. So this one has 472 pages and retails for $44.99. Again, this is the new printing. Hey, it's Gorilla Man and Birdman. Alright, let's keep going in here. The Ox comes back. There's the team up with Spider-Man back here. And Gladiator making his first appearance. And let's look at the extras all the way in the back. There's one issue in here where they changed the Owl's hair color like 3 times. It goes from brown to blonde to gray. Some original pages by Bill Everett right there. Some character reference sheets. And I believe that is, Jack Kirby, Frank Giacola. And the Plunderer. John Romita's sketch of Daredevil. Some layouts, house ads, and then the Marvel Masterworks trade paperbacks. Alright. Doctor Strange, Epic Collection, Nightmare on Bleecker Street. This is the latest Doctor Strange. I love this issue. This is the Prism cover right there. Volume 11, 1992 to 1994. This one retailing for $44.99. You have Len Kaminsky doing a lot of the writing in here. You have Roy Thomas doing a lot of the stuff. And Jeff Isherwood. We also did some of the artwork. It kicks off with the Marvel Superheroes 80-page special. So you also have in here Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, 48 through 61. Annual number 3. Morbius, the Living Vampire number 9. And material from Marvel Superheroes 12 and 14. And Marvel Comics Presents number 146, which is a big part of a crossover with Morbius and the rest of the Midnight Suns. So Doctor Strange is about to go through some changes in this particular volume. You have the aftermath of the whole Clea and Uma fight. And here's issue number 50 with a team up with Ghost Rider and Silver Surfer and Hulk. So it almost feels like a Defenders reunion. Almost. You get a new character in here. What is his name? Killian, I think. He appears through the pages of the annual. You have the Nightmare story arc that involves Morbius. So it's the first crossover. Diving a little bit into the Midnight Suns. Yes, this is the issue right here. This is the annual with this guy right here, Killian. So this is one of the annuals that Marvel did in the summertime. Whenever they released this, it was in a poly bag. And it came with a trading card. So you can go out and collect all of them. But Killian does show back up. He's like an apprentice of Doctor Strange for a while until the series is revamped. There's the Infinity Watch tie-in issues in here, which have been collected in the Omnibus, as well as the Infinity Watch Omnibus. Those issues right there. And then you get this right here. When it gets to about issue 59 and 60, you start seeing the changes. And it's also a change in style, too, in the artwork. So this is issue 59 right here. And I think this, for a while, is the last time we see Killian. Then we get to issue number 60, which changes things. Now it's Doctor Strange as part of the Midnight Suns imprint. It's the Siege of Darkness, but they don't collect the whole Siege of Darkness in here. And Siege of Darkness goes through the Darkhold, Night Stalkers, and Ghost Rider, and Vengeance. But they just collect the Doctor Strange part, including the part that was in the Marvel Comics Present issues. And it's all about Lilith bringing her forces to Earth. Again, that was collected in the Omnibus. This is the Marvel Comics Present issue right here. This one has 488 pages and retails for $44.99. And then we have The Return of Strange. So it was a huge crossover. And I think it's David Quinn that ends up writing the issue. Or yeah, he ends up taking over the run. So this is how it ends. And then the rest of the series will be the David Quinn era of Doctor Strange. And there's Strange right there. Now, let's look at the extras back here. You have Marvel Age, the Marvel Swimsuit Special, and then this is the issue I was talking about with the trading card. 1993, my goodness. Last but certainly not least is the Marvel Masterworks, the Invincible Iron Man, Volume 16. So, as with all the Marvel Masterworks, it has a dust jacket with this faux leather look to it underneath it. This marble-like pattern right there. And Marvel Masterworks presents the Invincible Iron Man, collecting Iron Man 158 to 170. So if you're keeping tabs on reading orders and things like that, this almost has the exact same material as The Enemy Within, the very first Marvel Epic Collection. However, what I'd say about the Marvel Masterworks is that they're always restoring the artwork. So the restoration, the color restoration is superior in this format than any other format. And then sometimes they borrow the masters from the Marvel Masterworks to put into the omnibus. So this does collect issues 158 to 170 and annual number 5, as well as material from Marvel Fanfare number 4. The book retails for $75 and it has 360 pages. You have an introduction here by Luke McDonnell, who was the artist on Iron Man for a few issues when Dennis O'Neil was writing the story. And he pretty much talks about his influences, how he got the job, and how it was a dream job. But it kicks off with the Dennis O'Neil and Carmen Infantino issue with 158. Now, I can't remember if I've done an overview of the omnibus or not, but I think it is regarded as one of the greatest runs on Iron Man, the whole David Michelinie, Bob Layton, and John Romita Jr. era. It's the Carmine Infantino stuff. And a lot of people go back to that Demon in a Bottle era in Iron Man drinking and giving up the costume. But that really doesn't start happening until here. Here we have a Paul Smith piece of artwork, Roger McKenzie doing the writing. This is where you start seeing Iron Man becoming more and more of this character that I think a lot of people think back on when they think of Demon in a Bottle, that he's an alcoholic, he suffers from alcoholism, and he can't put on the suit anymore because he's kind of given that up. And a lot of that has to do with Obadiah Stane. He wants to take over Tony's company, so he ends up hiring this woman, what is her name? Moomji, I think, to lure him, because Tony has a weakness, and also giving him alcohol, right? Like seducing him with not just her looks, but also alcohol. So Stane can move in the background, attacking his company. And it is a long, drawn-out story because it doesn't really finish here. It goes into the next issues. I mean, I think it goes all the way to issue like 180 or so. But a lot of it has to do with this right here. So this storyline really devotes a lot of its time to Tony's alcoholism and to his recovery. That's what I liked about this. And a lot of this, again, has been collected in The Enemy Within. As a matter of fact, that's the cover that they use for The Enemy Within Epic Collection. So if you have that, you've already read these stories in there. And like I mentioned, leading into the Machine Man story, leading into this issue right here. An Iron Man you've never seen before, unless you looked at the last page of the last issue. So that's how it ends, with Rhodey taking over the role of Iron Man because Tony just can't. You see this man just break down, but it's a great story. Again, Dennis O'Neil, and that was Luke McDonnell on artwork. Let's look at the extras. Direct market promo poster, and then biographies all the way in the back. And other Marvel Masterworks. Woo! That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing any of these books, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. That was the content and page count of each of these collected editions. Let me know in the comments down below what you are picking up, what you pick up in Epic Collection, what you're hoping that comes out in Omnibus format, what you're trying out in trade paperback format, and if you're gifting anyone those mighty Marvel Masterworks line. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Smash that like button. Thank you all so much for watching. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.